Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to cilinixfxcapital, and welcome to yet another video on XRP. And there was a time where I did not really like to make these videos on XRP because, honestly, not much was going on. But right now, things are going on with XRP, and we're actually seeing continued bullish momentum as expected. All right, if you watch my videos over the course of the last couple of days, I mean, you would have been perfectly prepared for this, all right? I already called this. I already said earlier last week, I'm actually, relatively optimistic, relatively bullish on XRP. And then on Friday and Thursday, I said, I think it's quite likely we'll be able to rally into the top of the range. And that's where we are right now. And to be fair, we have actually broken above the top of the range by breaking above this level right here between 2.6 and 2.55. So we'll talk about that in this video, whether we can actually, maintain this breakout, right? Because technically it's a breakout, but then if you zoom out on XRP, you can see that we still have major resistance, unfortunately, all the way up to 2.75. So it's definitely not going to be easy. And the fact that we were able to break above the range high right here, the value area high, which was around 2.55, and the 30-day rolling VWAP at 2.58. Unfortunately, normally that matters a lot, but in these circumstances, especially also since a lot of the bullish momentum happened over the course of the weekend, I would argue it doesn't matter that much. Now, first of all, before we talk about the technicals, which I will spoiler that my thoughts on the XRP are still the same as yesterday, right? So yesterday I said, I think it's likely we will rally up higher into 2.6, 2.65. I don't think we'll see a sustainable breakout above that. I think we will pull back first and then potentially head for 2.75, 2.8 and try to break above that level, right? Because 2.75 and 2.8, purely technically, purely structurally, we need to reclaim those levels if we want a higher time frame bullish XRP. And I think that's too much to ask for now, but we'll talk about that later. First of all, there's a couple of things fundamentally that we need to talk about. A lot of people are talking about an XRP ETF. Look, I haven't seen that news, but I know that there's a huge community and a huge, community of creators around Ripple and XRP that like to spread fake rumors. At this point of time, I don't have any indication, or I haven't seen any news from the major key sources I follow of an XRP ETF, all right? And it would also be, I think it's coming. I think it's coming end of 2025. Or early 2026, but there's no indication that it's coming in the next 2 weeks or so, which some of the rumors are about. And then obviously we had this news October the 24th of Ripple Prime, and this is great. I mean, this causes some bullish momentum, but ultimately, for those of you who also watched my videos when they made the Hidden Road acquisition earlier this year, but also the other acquisition they made in September, or earlier in October, I think, actually. This was always the expectation that they would do this, right? So it's great that they're actually doing that. But I think to a certain extent, this is already priced in, and this can also be used by whales to push up the price and to hurt some people who are trying to get into long positions. All right, and this was always, even though I did not talk about that, we already talked about them doing something like this back when they made the acquisition, right? So it's not that this is crazy news and completely unexpected. No, we already knew their plan with the acquisitions. I already became more bullish on XRP because of that. So definitely great news, and it definitely has played its part in this bullish momentum, but I still think you should be cautious. And the key reason why I think you should be cautious here on the 12-hour time frame is a couple of things added together, all right? And that is, first of all of the imbalances we're leaving to the downside with XRP. And these are imbalances left with low volume. Leaving imbalances is not the end of the world. You can see right here as well that XRP, during that big move up in July, we left all sorts of imbalances. That's fine, but back then, the volume was actually, increasing. And right now, the volume is not even higher as where it was early October, when the price definitely wasn't very strong, right? So there's not a lot of real strength and real momentum with these fair value gaps, which makes them more likely to be filled. Then outside of that, we have key resistance right here between 2.75 and 2.65. And then next week, we have the FOMC meeting, right? Which is usually a source of de-risking. So all of that bundled together, am I bullish on XRP? Yes, ultimately I am. But I think it's more likely that short term here on the 4-hour time frame, maybe we'll rally up a little bit higher. That actually seems quite likely. There's some sort of momentum. But I do think between 2.7 and 2.75, we'll pull back at least to this level right here at 2.52 and probably lower depending on how the market opens in the next 24 hours, into 2.45, 2.42. And after finding support there, I think we have a better chance to reclaim, right? So this is essentially what I said yesterday as well. But we have seen some news and we have seen some price action development. And so far, I've been correct. So hopefully that continues. But those are my thoughts for now. That's what I think you need to know. So hopefully it helps. But for now, thank you for watching, everybody. Take care and bye.